right. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. This is so exciting. I'm glad that you all made your time on a Sunday morning, which is a good thing, right? Because we're going to talk about health. And if you don't make time for your health, you're going to have to make time for your illness. So this is, right? So this is what we're calling story time. And I know that some of you are joining because you've also seen the posts that I've been doing about, this really amazing product that has helped me so much. And either you can use it for yourself, obviously, but you can also think of somebody else that you can help. And that is my goal. And this story time, we want to talk about those of us that are taking the product, talk about how it has improved our health and our lives, and also introduce to some of you that are not familiar with it, how incredibly it works with your body and how it basically empowers your body to create what you need to avoid illness, to avoid oxidative stress, to feel happy, to feel healthy, to feel vibrant, to basically activate your body as easy as just flipping a switch. So I will tell you a little bit about my story. Some of you are familiar with it because you've known me long enough and know that I've had lymphedema since 2007. However, I always kept myself healthy because I looked for other methods of taking care of myself. I didn't just leave it to the hands of conventional medicine. And that kind of helped me a lot to be in a very healthy state. However, I had never been able to find anything that I could take that would actually so impressively deal with inflammation. And as I was doing research in natural remedies for lymphedema, I came across Margie, and looking into getting to know her, finding out about her and interviewing her. And it so happens that she is a lymphedema therapist from the best school of lymphedema therapy. And also she has this product and she has used it with her clients as well as her family and other friends. And she's like, you have to try this product. And I'm open to everything, especially if it's natural. So within about 3 weeks of taking the product, my leg swelling had decreased so much that I couldn't believe it. I mean, seriously, I couldn't believe it. The leg started to have shape. The foot started to have shape. And with that came a ton of energy, sleeping better digestion and elimination, just an overall well-being, overall vibrancy to my life. And also, obviously, the happiness of having a lymphedema leg that is not as swollen, that is not as heavy, that the fibrous tissue has become soft, and you can't really even notice much of a difference between my right leg and my left leg anymore. So I am forever grateful to Margie, and I will continue to take this because I can only imagine how much better it will be for me as I age, which was always something that was in the back of my mind. Like, as I age, how am I going to handle my lymphedema? And this is it. This is how I'm handling my lymphedema. And I hope that the stories that you'll hear here today will impact you to take better care of yourself, continue taking it if you are taking it, or start taking it and spread the word, because we have a big mission to help 1 million people. And that is the goal. That is our purpose, is to help. If we find something that is so good, how can we not help other people? So with that, I'll leave it to Margie to share your story, and then we'll go from there.
Thank you so much, Rocio. You are such an inspiration. You know, in my 20 odd years of working in my own lymphedema clinic, I haven't met a client or a patient that has Rocio's energy and vibrancy and just this vision and desire to help others. And meanwhile, she's helped herself and her condition is so much better. She's just she walks her talk. And it's my pleasure that I'm partnered with her on this journey. So my name is Margie Hare. I'm based in Sydney, Australia. And currently I'm actually in Cape Town. I'm looking after my grandchildren. So I'll be here till the 26th of December. So I'll have Christmas and then I fly home. That's if Australia will let me back in again with all the things that are going on. Hopefully I will. So when I joined LifeVantage, I was not looking for a product. I wasn't even looking for a business. I took the product because my friend badgered me. She kept saying, "You've been so ill, you're not well, you need to take this product." Anyway, just before I say any more, and bearing in mind there are going to be a few people talking on the call tonight, we never ever claim to heal, cure, mitigate any diseases or any conditions. What we're sharing with you tonight is our personal stories and information for educational purposes only. So it's not a diagnosis or anything of that nature. So how I came across this product, I was bitten by a tick. I was on the northern beaches in Australia and it's absolutely ridden with these infected ticks. And I became very ill. Australia does not recognize the condition that in America, they call it Lyme's disease, and the same in France. Australia, they don't call it that. It's not there, but it is. So for 18 months, I was really, really sick. And if anyone knows about Lyme's disease, it's very debilitating. Besides the chronic headaches, the aches and pains, cold, cough, flu, influenza, bronchitis, pneumonia, and it's just rolling. You know, you're getting over the one and you just roll into another condition. It doesn't ever go away. And each of these conditions exacerbates. And I was ending up, I think I must have been quite depressed because there were some days I couldn't even get out of bed. I obviously had to close the clinic. I couldn't work anymore. And then this friend of mine, and we'd worked together many years before, and she phoned me because she'd heard about that I'd been so ill. And she phoned me 4 times and I kept saying no. And on the 4th time, she used a very strong word. She said, "You are stubborn." She said, "You're going to be poor for the rest of your life. You're not going to be able to work. Have a good life." And she put the phone down. She didn't even let me answer. But bearing in mind, it was the 4th call and I kept saying no. And I took a good, long, hard look at myself and I thought, oh my word. And it was as though something snapped in my brain. And I thought, here's a natural product, and that's what I work in, natural health. I'm not even prepared to be open enough to try it. I picked up the phone and I said, "Trish, give me that bloody stuff." Well, I started straight away as a customer but I didn't take it with an open mind. I took it because she was nagging me and because she told me I was so stubborn. Now, I ask you tonight, just have an open mind to anything that you hear and see if it falls on fertile ground, because I have never looked back. It has changed my life considerably in every area. I'm not tired like I was all the time. I don't have those aches and pains. I'm fitter now than I was 3.5 years ago because I couldn't even exercise. I was in that bad state of health. So every person that takes Protandim, NRF1, NRF2, and NAD will have a different effect because it depends how and what is required by your body, because activation is quite different to supplementation. Supplementation is when you take something that you think your body needs that it hasn't got. Whereas activation, when we take these 3 amazing, unique products, our body is activated so it produces what your body needs. So what Rocio's body needed isn't what I needed. What Dr. Adi's body needs isn't what I needed. And what Heidi needs is not what I need. So everybody will have a different story. And that's why we've got this beautiful story time. And I must honor Rocio. It was her idea for us to do story time so we could share our experiences as we journey along together. Because a question that one of you might have, someone else might have as well. So Rosie and I were having a quick little chat before. And when I started taking the product, I was in my 60s. And Trish said to me, you know, Margie, what you really need to do, don't just try it for a month. It's a waste of time, a waste of your money, and a waste of my time to help you. She said, what you need to do is commit that you'll take it for at least 6 months. So it's 1 month for every decade of life. And that affects everybody. If it's a 30-year-old, they need to take it for 3 months minimum. If it's an 80-year-old, they need to take it for 8 months minimum. Because what we want to do is reduce the oxidative stress that's built up over time. And as the oxidative stress builds up, so the cells become damaged and they slow down. That's why our brain slows down, our eyes deteriorate, our hearing deteriorates. It's a natural process of aging, but it doesn't need to be so. So if that's just a little tip to step you along the way, that's just a little bit of information about how this can help you with your specific issues that you might be having. Bearing in mind that Protandim in RF1, 2, and 3 is not for people who are sick. For people who are sick, who've got issues, it's for them, definitely. But it is for the prevention of disease and to keep you healthy. So let's take our flagship product, Protandim NRF2. That product for health and wellness, to maintain it in a healthy state, 1 little yellow pill per day is all that's necessary. If you have a few issues that's been prolonged, like for instance, with my Lyme's disease, I had 1 in the morning, 1 at night, 1 at lunchtime, 1 middle of the day and the evening. So I went up to 3, and for months and months, I took 3. As I was starting to feel better, I cut back to 2. And of course, now I only take 1. But when I'm really stressed, one, I must tell you, I paddle dragon boats when I race dragon boats. On my dragon boat days, I take 2 because it's an excessive sport. And when you are exercising, your body produces oxidative stress. So on those days, I have 1 in the morning, 1 at night, but otherwise I only have 1 a day. So it's a very movable feast as to how you use that product. So I wonder, Rocio, would you like to ask one of your guests to share their story?
Sure. But before that, I wanted to just kind of going on to what you talked about, that you don't need to have a condition or an ailment or an illness in order to take this. This product is also taken by athletes that need to perform higher, that need to prevent injury, and that want to also recover quickly. I just signed up my nephew yesterday, and I'm really looking forward to how a person in his 30s will react, to this, especially because he works very hard physically. And I'm very excited to see that because he has some bad knees from playing soccer for years. So you don't have to have a condition. You can be healthy, active, but slightly feeling maybe a little bit tired, or you're doing too much stress, all these daily things that can make your brain foggy, that can make you a little bit tired when you get up in the morning, and you will see a difference. You will see a difference regardless. It doesn't have to be any kind of ailment or condition. However, you could be fully healthy. You could have a better, vibrant health, and you can speak to the product to help somebody that probably has a condition. So like Margie says, open-minded. But I'd like to invite Heidi if she wants to share her story on obviously how you got introduced to the product and what things you were noticing in your health and how everything changed when you started taking.
Sure. As I mentioned before in other story times, Rocio introduced me to Protandim. It was her birthday weekend, and she kept talking and talking and talking about it. And I was like, stop talking and let's sit down and tell me what this is. You're talking and you feel so much better. So I'm interested. And she introduced me to Protandim. And I was like, okay, I want to try. If she's feeling that good, and she has so much energy, I think I should give it a try. I have always been a person that, my sleeping patterns has been very bad, honestly. I don't even remember when it started, but it's been so long. And I says, if that's going to help me, at least with that, I'm willing to try. Because I was always, tired, dragging myself the next day. I was just sleeping 3 hours a night, maybe 4 if I was lucky. And once in a while in a bad mood, because when you don't sleep very well night after night, there are a couple of days that you're not going to be very happy about nothing, about anything in your life. And I was like, okay, if that's going to help me at least with sleeping, I'm willing to try. And we make we did the order and everything. I got it like right away, and I started taking it. I even talked to my husband about it, and when he looked at it, he was like, I'm taking all those ingredients in that pill separately. And if there's a pill that I can just take one pill, and not 3-4 pills with all those ingredients. But he wanted to finish what he had in his medicine cabinet. And I started it. The first thing that I felt was about after 6-7 days, that was the first time that I slept the whole night. And I was like, wow, I feel so good now. I didn't know what was, honestly, sleeping for the whole night. And I was like, wow, this feels good. I have energy. I am happy. I'm in a good mood, and this is the first symptom that I can tell that I feel it was, working. And the pattern continued day after day. I'm on my 3rd month now with Protandim. All my aches and pains are gone completely. I have arthritis. And honestly, I was able to change my bed sheets without help, which was something that I was not able to do without my husband helping me, because my fingers got like very stiff and I couldn't finish. And I've been able to do that I've been doing it maybe for a whole month now, every time, and able to open jars without any help, which is really good. And as I have mentioned before, I do have knee surgery. I have screws and wire in one of my knees. They put my patella together with screws and wires, which is very painful sometimes, especially when you live in a place that snow. And we got 8 inches of snow last Friday. And I have noticed that for me to get to the parking lot, I have to go to take some stairs, a flight of stairs. And I've been doing the stairs without, I always said that I look like a giraffe going upstairs, because I'm tall, I'm 5'9". So I have to sometimes, and even standing up sometimes for me from low chairs and stuff like that, I have to stretch my legs and help with my hands, for me to be able to stand up. And I haven't been doing that lately. I stand up. And even Rocio mentioned the last time we saw each other, it was for Thanksgiving. She was like, oh my goodness, you're walking faster and better, because I tend to protect that knee a lot. And it's something, it's up here. It's not that I need to do that, but it's up here. When you have screws and wires in one knee and that your patella was put together with that, you protect that. And I even forget, honestly, I even forget that I have that on my knee because it's not bothering me that much. Once in a while, like Friday, we got 8 inches of snow. It was really humid. A little bit, but not as bad as it was before. And for me, that's a huge accomplishment. Now, like I said before, I'm working towards my kidney condition. Unfortunately, I have to have a procedure done because I have a mass in one of my kidneys and it has grown more than expected. They're going to put a coil in one of my kidneys, but hopefully with the coil and Protandim together, next time I see the doctor, it's in much better shape. And also I'm working towards my cholesterol. I'm planning on, what you read about simvastatin and all those medications is not really good. And hopefully I'm working into getting it lower without any medication. Of course, diet and exercise, but I'm working towards that. I am very happy. As I said, I'm into my 3rd month. Last week, I was going crazy because I finished my Protandim on Monday. I was supposed to get it before Monday. And I guess because of the weather, crazy weather everywhere, I got it yesterday. And I was without the pill from Monday till Saturday. And I was going crazy because I thought that if I did not take it, I was going to be in pain or something like that, but no, it was fine. So
and I can attest to that because I've seen, she's walking faster. She's not sitting down like she, with all of that, trying to sit down with a leg like in pain. So I think, it makes me happy to hear that, this was able to, because I don't want to say I was able to help. The product helped. She was open to taking it.
So Heidi, what I want to share with you, thank you. That was an awesome story, all aspects of your story, which bring up 2 points for me. You mentioned that your hubby said he was taking maybe ashwagandha or green tea or milk thistle or turmeric and so on. That's a very valid point. They've done the research, and each one of those products, or should I say each one of those herbs, does have a very positive effect in the body. But with Protandim NRF2, it is a patented formula in a very specific order. In other words, the recipe is very specific and patented. And the effect of all of those 5 ingredients taken individually compared to taking the formula, it's 18 times more effective when you take the little yellow pill as opposed to the 5 ingredients separately. And that's proven. It's on PubMed. All the research and scientific background is all there. So that's a very good point that you made.
He threw everything out. He threw all the stuff out and started Protandim 2 months ago, and he feels the difference. He tells me that he feels the difference between Protandim, everything in one pill, than taking it separately.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. The other thing that I thought I'd mention, the last thing you said was when it comes to the inflammation from a sore joint or something like that, that is a great opportunity for somebody when they have something like that. They can increase until the pain reduces. Doesn't mean to say you're going to stay on an increased amount for any length of time.
Okay, hi. I am another of Rocio's sisters. We are a lot. I've been using the product for 2 months now. No, 1.5 months. And for me, the most important thing for me is that I can move my shoulder. Last year, I fell. I was going to run, and I fell in my garage. I broke my wrist, so I was almost 3 months with a cast. And because of that fall, my shoulder like got retracted, and I have a very terrible pain. I cannot even raise my arm. I cannot even turn it like this, not even to sleep, to put my arm up in my head, because it hurts so much. And you have seen, I am doing everything like the other arm. For me, it's like, because I do a lot of exercise. I walk and I run every day. I also go to the gym. So it was really hard and painful. And my trainer, she was always taking care because she doesn't want to injure more my shoulder. But after having Protandim and both pills, the pain is gone, and I recovered the movement. So for me, that's the most wonderful thing, because my sister knows, I don't know, but that living in pain, and everyone here, all of you know that living in pain is terrible. Trying to do things that you are used to, by, I don't know, like when you are organizing your closet and you cannot reach some place and it hurts, and you're sleeping and you cannot sleep in that side, or you cannot put your arm, or you can. For me, it was terrible. And the other thing, longer, I fractured my ankle. I'm a very active person, so usually I'm falling and having some kind of trouble. And my ankle is really, really good now. I can continue running more. I'm doing more in less time. I haven't had any kind of asthma symptoms that I used to have some days after running. As my sister, I hoping that my cholesterol is not that bad, but I want to be lower. So I'm hoping that that will help me also, and see how far I can go with the product, and how much I can improve many other aspects of my life, of my health. I'm 62 years old, and I'm going to be a grandma in summer, so I want to be a very active grandma. I want to, to have health, and I'm married for 36 years, and I want to spend it more years with my husband and helping my parents, and sharing in family and feeling well. I think that when you feel well, it's not just your body, it affects your mind, your spirit, everything. It's a whole, because we are not separate. We cannot separate each one of our whole being, whole person. So if I feel well, I'm going to be happy. If I feel well, I'm going to do a lot of things that I love to do. And I'm hoping that Protandim and I don't remember the name of the other pill, NF, that will help
NRF1
me
and NRF2. Yeah.
Yes, that will continue helping me feeling much better and feeling strong, feeling painless. I don't want to have pain. And for me, that's very important. Very important. And I want to thank Rocio. For me, it's a little bit hard because, I have to make some arrangement to make the order, but Rocio is helping me a lot with that. So hopefully I can continue using the product for as long as I need it. And it has to be every day for the rest of my life. Well, every day for the rest of my life, because I'm feeling really, really good. So thank you.
Thank you, Marina. Okay, thanks so much. That's awesome. So Margie, you want to?
So the other point that comes out of what both of you have said is that you hope you can continue to take it and so on. And what Heidi said about having 1 day or 2 days when her product didn't arrive. I've got good news for you. In the research that Dr. Brian Dixon has done with his team, he heads up our scientific research and development. When you've been taking the product for your decade per 1 month per decade. You have 14 days. So even if you're without your product for 14 days, you will still maintain the benefit of what you've enjoyed. So don't worry if there's 1 or 2 days, or you go away for the weekend and you forgot your pills or whatever. Don't worry, you've got 14 days in hand. But what happens after that is important. The symptoms you were experiencing before start returning. I have many patients that say after, say they've been on the product for a year or whatever, and they say, I'm feeling so great, I don't think I need to take it anymore. And I just say to them, it's up to you, my darling, but this is what you can expect. For the next 14 days, you'll feel great. If those little aches and pains or your sleeplessness or your depression or whatever start coming back, I said, we can just put you straight back on again. So we'll cancel your monthly order. I can tell you within 6 weeks, so they usually miss 1 order. And then after that 14 days, it starts building up. They don't want to feel like they felt before, and they go back on the product. So you know you've got that little window of grace. If you miss your tablets or your Protandim for 1 or 2 days, don't worry about that.
I have a question.
Yes.
You said that sometimes that you're feeling that you know that you're going to do more exercise, or you can be more tired for many reasons. You have more than one of the pills.
Absolutely. Definitely.
And it doesn't exist something like an overdose with the,
we do not increase Protandim NRF1 2 capsules a day. We don't ever increase that. That is a standard dosage per adult per day. With Protandim NRF2, they're 5 natural herbs. And for patients with excessive conditions, like for instance, let's talk about or mention Parkinson's or motor neuron or Alzheimer's or any of those serious conditions, they can take up to 5 a day.
Okay.
Because their levels of oxidative stress are extremely high. We need to reduce it as quickly as possible. The other thing with most conditions, their glutathione levels are very low. When we take Protandim NRF2, it raises our glutathione by 300%. So those are 2 very important things that help and improve our health. When we are in the phase of health and wellness and maintenance, our glutathione levels will be normal. And when we do excessive sport, like I do when I'm racing, I firstly want to recover quickly because I race on Saturday and I train on Sunday. If I don't take 2, my recovery isn't as good. So recovery time for any kind of athlete or someone doing sport or someone wanting to get fit or someone wanting to lose weight, recovery time is really important. So from when I've raced on Saturday to when I'm training on Sunday, I feel the same. I don't feel I've had an excessive tiredness or lack of muscle strength or anything like that. But I don't think I would be able to do what I do without Protandim. And we know that from our elite athletes. We've got snowboarders, we've got ice hockey players, all sorts of elite athletes. And I'm not an elite athlete, I'm just a Mrs. Ordinary, let me tell you. But I'm a little bit competitive. I love playing to the best of my ability.
Dixon, Senior Vice President of Research and Development here at LifeVantage. I'm here to tell you about Icy Bright, our brand new eye and brain health complex. We designed Icy Bright for one primary reason: to support your eye health in so many ways, from the structures of your eye, exposure to sunlight, and from the effects of all those digital devices. We are spending more and more time than ever on our phones, computers, and other devices. And one thing these all have in common is that they are sources of light, especially blue light. Now, there are a lot of different wavelengths of light in the visible spectrum. Think of all the colors of the rainbow. And all this light radiation is constantly bombarding our eyes. But light in the blue spectrum possesses some unique challenges for the eye because it is very high energy, creates free radicals, and a type of oxidative stress we call photooxidation. And so one thing we are targeting with Icy Bright is helping to reduce the effects of photooxidation. Think of your eye as being like a movie projector and screen. The lens at the front is projecting light onto a screen in the back of the eye. Right where that light is focused the most is called the macula, right in the center of the back of the eye or the retina. Fortunately, your retina has developed the ability to help reduce the effects of all that light being focused on that movie screen and mitigating the potential for photooxidation. It takes yellow plant pigments from your diet called carotenoids and concentrates them into the macula. Their molecular structure makes them really good at taking that high energy blue light, diffusing it, and essentially acting like internal sunglasses. The two key carotenoids for topping up this macular pigment are called lutein and zeaxanthin, which are the two hero ingredients of our Icy Bright formula. It's great for providing the nutrients your eyes need to help defend against the effects of blue light. Light is also vital for your circadian rhythms because it's so closely tied to melatonin production. This is the light that tells your body when it's time to wake up in the morning and when it's time to go to sleep at night. When you're on a digital device until bedtime, there's constant stress and light, especially blue light, hitting your eyes. This can mess with your melatonin production. That's another thing we're addressing with Icy Bright. It helps filter that blue light to support normal sleep patterns. But it will also really help during the day. Studies have shown that taking lutein and zeaxanthin can reduce eye strain and eye fatigue that can come as a result of being outside or staring at a screen for hours and hours. And the research is almost indisputable that people that have higher levels of macular pigment have better eye health outcomes, especially long term, because it plays such a huge role in helping minimize the effects of photooxidation. Plus, maintaining higher levels of macular pigment can also support your vision. There's a ton of research that shows macular pigment can help you see more clearly when driving at night. If you've ever looked over a big landscape, sometimes it will look like there's haze in the valleys. When your macular pigment is low, your eyes don't have the ability to filter out that blue haze. People with higher levels of macular pigment can often see more clearly. There are even some interesting studies that have found people with more macular pigment have faster reaction times. In essence, they can see faster. This can affect everything from driving to sports or work performance and even computer gaming. This is most likely because these same carotenoids, lutein and zeaxanthin, are involved in increasing the speed of visual signals. When we see an image, what's really happening is light is hitting receptors in the eye that send signals down the nerves to the back of the brain. Then our brain develops the image in the visual cortex. Seeing the world around us is 100% a nervous system function, which is why brain health and eye health go hand in hand. Now, Icy Bright does more than provide internal carotenoids for macular pigment. It offers more complete benefits with additional nutrients for overall eye health. Vitamin C is important for two reasons. One, it supports the cells that line the outside of the lens or cornea, which is really collagen heavy. And vitamin C supports collagen production. Number two, as an antioxidant, it helps support those same corneal cells and the other structures of the eye. So the air and pollution they're exposed to doesn't have as much of an effect. We included vitamin E along with omega-3 fatty acids to help with nerve conductivity, which is needed to relay those messages from the eye to your brain. Zinc and copper work better together. For example, at LifeVantage, we love to talk about the antioxidant enzyme, superoxide dismutase, or SOD. The only way that enzyme works is when it has both copper and zinc together. Being deficient in copper or zinc can hinder the efficiency of SOD. We also included vitamin D because, again, research has shown it's important for macular health. And the last ingredient is bilberry. Bilberry has been used for eye health for hundreds of years. In fact, World War II pilots were reported to have eaten bilberry jam to support their vision. It provides important vitamins, minerals, and other phytonutrients from European blueberries that are great for your eyes. Your eyes are the window to your world. Shield them from the effects of light from the sun, the lights that most of us sit under all day, and the light from our digital devices. Look after their long-term health with Icy Bright. See faster so you can stay focused on what matters.
Don't you think he tells a great story?
I think it was awesome. I'm taking Icy Bright. I've only been taking it for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, but I'm taking it. Yeah. It's like I'm getting my vitamin C from Icy Bright and from NRF2, because NRF2 has an incredible amount of vitamin C and D, right? And potassium and iron, magnesium. It's powerful.
Well, you're asking about if you're going into surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And that really starts to mix two things. I could imagine, I'm pretty new at this myself. So, at the Protandim, I'm very excited about it myself. I wouldn't be surprised if Margie said, "Oh no, you should take it if you're going into surgery, because you're going to have a lot of oxidative stress if you're going into surgery." And there's probably something very true about that. On the other hand, and I am doing the same thing, with my own self. If you talk with an anesthesiologist who's going to be, especially if you're having general anesthesia, who's going to be putting a whole lot of very unusual chemicals into your body. Nobody is usually walking around under general anesthesia, right? And there are anesthesia reactions, which are concerning because they can be very bad. And it's not normal life. So it's not you're taking another drug, you have another condition. But the only thing, when you mentioned wanting to hear from me about it, that from the safety in that area standpoint, I would say, I would want what I would do for myself if I was going into surgery. And actually, my husband has started taking NRF. He's starting to take this too. And he's going to have a knee replaced in February. And I'm starting to look at this too, because it might make the most safety kind of sense in terms of anesthesia reaction to look up. And I'll bet you Brian Dixon and other people have looked into this. There's research about this somewhere, and see if it would actually help to take more ahead of time and then start it again. Most of the time for general anesthesia, not the surgery, not the condition, but the general anesthesia, because it's really different. It's recommended just hold off on everything else you usually do, have a clean slate, and they have only a few medications that they normally give in the usual medicine, okay? So maybe the blood pressure, but not that, not this, not that. So I'm just saying from that standpoint, since you asked me, that there might be a real good reason to look further into it. I'm not going to give advice on this because I don't know, but I do have ways of looking into it, and I might find something besides the general idea of, well, if you really don't have research that says it's just fine, if you don't have a study that says it works really well if you take the NRF2 right through surgery, then it's probably better not to, because people die from anesthesia reactions. We've probably usually heard somebody who's had that. So you asked me, and although I wouldn't come into this setting like this and say, well, wait a minute, you got to listen to me. Since you asked me, and since I've...
My guess is that after the surgery, I think
Oh yeah.
the NRF2 is very important because it will help all those cells replenish, rejuvenate
Yes.
them, produce
Yes.
more, right? Especially
Yes,
after going
totally.
through trauma, putting the body
Totally.
through trauma of the surgery.
Totally.
So, of
I would
course,
say that without
stopping it,
research of any kind. Yes.
yeah, stopping it for the surgery period, right? And then starting it again.
Rocio, I'm really saying it's not about the surgery. I'll bet you for the surgery itself, it's really good. I'm saying the anesthesia, but I'm retired now a few years, but 30 wonderful years in medicine. So I can't help but say what would be safe if I was a physician, somebody was asking me. I can't help it because, my daughter's third grade teacher died in an anesthesia reaction for a very simple procedure. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
And when we have people going into anesthesia, we ask a lot of questions. Anesthesia is another world. I don't live in that world, but I'm aware of it. So in answer to your question, that's what I would say.
I'll tell you what I think we can do. We have an anaesthetist in New Zealand, Dr. Gail Pearson.
Beautiful.
If you would like to ask her a specific question, just give it to Rocio and we will put that question to her and she can give us that answer from her perspective, because we do have doctors in all sorts of areas in that field. So thanks for raising that, Ati. It's a good suggestion.
That's perfect. And if you have an anesthesiologist who this is great.
Yeah,
that's the research
she's
that
been
needs to be
working
done,
with
because
the product.
they're not going to say something easy. They're not going to say, oh yeah, but maybe they will. Maybe they'll say it really is okay. They're the ones that know. Nobody else knows anesthesia except for the anesthesia people.
Exactly.
I've
had 3 surgeries with anesthetic when I broke my wrist and had to have a plate and all sorts of things. And I took my normal standard 1 a day until I came out of the anesthetic. And then I doubled up 3, 2, 1 until the pain was gone. I didn't take any painkillers whatsoever. I don't believe in taking drugs. So if that's any help for anyone who's going under anesthetic.
I would certainly say afterwards take it and take the 3 to 5 tablet. Absolutely. I have no question about that.
Okay.
Marci, what are the active ingredients in that product?
In NRF2?
Yeah.
So it's 5 herbs. It's ashwagandha, milk thistle, turmeric, bacopa, and
green tea.
And green tea. So they're 5 very common herbs that have been used in Ayurvedic and Chinese herbs for centuries. On each individual ingredient, there's heaps and heaps of research that has been done. And for our scientific team to have come up with those 5, they had more than 50 that they tested to see which 5 ingredients was most effectively activating the NRF2 pathway. And when they then had the top 5, they then had to do as many tests to find out the right amount of each particular ingredient that would have the best activation of the NRF2 pathway. And that is why the product's been out since 2003. There is not another product on the market that has anything that comes close. There's nothing like it. There's no other product on the market anywhere that can do what NRF2 activation does in the body. Yeah. Does that help, Franz?
Yeah, thank you.
Pleasure. Well, Rocio, thank you. Thank you for taking the time and all your beautiful guests on a Sunday morning to come and share their stories. How wonderful is that? Well, everybody, I hope you have a beautiful Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your day. Lovely to see you all, and thank you for sharing your stories.
Thank you, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
You have a beautiful
Bless
Sunday.
you all.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
see you next time.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye
Yeah.
now.